HD Media.
What's up, guys? We're back. Hustle Different. Des White, Morgan Allison. Just want to bring some new things that we've been working on, some new ideas. Want to kind of introduce a new segment. You know, I think for now we're gonna call it the game, but I think I like dropping jewelry. I think that's a good name for it.
Dropping jewelry.
Dropping jewelry, yeah,
Dropping jewels.
or pick up those jewels. Let me drop these jewels so you can pick them. Anyway, so basically what it is me and Morgan, when we in the car together or we riding together, we talk about a lot of different things, and I kind of wanted to, or she kind of had the idea like, hey, we should just like we have good conversations, so we need to really record those and really talk about or share with the people what we've been talking about based on entrepreneurship, debt, and all that type of stuff. So it's gonna, we've had conversations on the Chatty House. We've had conversations.
Clubhouse. For those who
Yeah.
don't follow Joe Budden.
For those who don't follow Joe Budden, it's called the club. It's called Clubhouse, but it's the Chatty House for the JBP fans. And shout out to Joe Budden. I love y'all. So we've picked these random conversations or these random topics, and we introduced them to the Clubhouse. And Hustle Different is gonna have a club created soon, and you guys are gonna be able to be a part of that club if you have any relations to any relations to entrepreneurship or, trying to get out of debt and trying to be financially independent. So yeah, that's basically what it's gonna be. And some just to give y'all a brief like some topics that we might talk about for dropping jewels and different things like that. We had a conversation about getting out of debt, right? Being financially independent. We had a conversation about what was the other one? Dating.
Um, can you be business partners with your significant
Yeah,
other?
right. Can you be business partner with your significant other? Or going into a business with your significant other, and how does that work and different things like that. So it's gonna be those type of conversations where we may record the audio from the Clubhouse conversation, or when me and Morgan are just having a conversation, we just gonna sit down and just talk to y'all and do things like that. So that's what we've been doing. Look for that, dropping jewels, dropping jewelry, pick this jewelry up I'm dropping, or just the game. And the game is not gonna always come from us.
Right.
We not experts, we not gurus. We just kind of talk through experience and things like that. And I'm looking to learn and build from other people. So majority of the time, it's not going to be us dropping jewelry or giving game. It's going to be other people, including us, and we just going to be sharing
Well,
ideas
I
and different
don't
things
think
like
this
that.
is
So,
that's not the vision I have for this part of it. I think that's more HD approved.
so what vision you have for it?
This
So
is
I
just
can have an
us
understanding.
talking. Like us having conversations. I feel like every once in a while maybe we might have somebody, but I feel like it's us just working through it as
Just you and I.
entrepreneurs and us trying to pay off debt and us talking about the different viewpoints that we may have picked up on Clubhouse, our Facebook, our Instagram, or just customers in general. I think HD approved is more so where I want to bring other people.
Where you want to bring other people.
Right.
Okay. So what are we doing right now?
Today we are talking about the question of, is Dave Ramsey for black people? Does his methods work for black
Well,
people?
I don't really know who Dave Ramsey is, and I don't fuck with him. So you have to.
So for Desmond and those who don't know who Dave Ramsey is, he is a I don't know what he is. I guess honestly he
Financial advisor,
financial advisor. Honestly, entrepreneur,
entrepreneur.
writes books. He comes from a Christian perspective of how to pay off debt and basically that we should not be lenders to people in that sense. I mean borrowers of people. I think if I'm saying it right. But basically the means to the end of Dave Ramsey is paying cash for everything. Getting out of debt, paying cash for everything, and you don't need credit, right? So
Okay.
I get the means to the ends. I get the idea. I'm down with the idea. So like his first step is you saving up $1,000 for an emergency fund. So in case something happens in this time frame of you paying off your debt, you'll have $1,000 or 500 depending on your salary, right? And then you go into this thing called the debt snowball. You list all your debt out from least to greatest. So the idea is if you have a $1,000 bill, 2,000, 3,000, and so forth, you pay the $1,000 off, then you pay the 2,000. But you're also making the minimum payments on every single other thing. But you're putting more money on the 1,000, right? So then once the 1,000 is paid off, you move up to the 2,000. What you was putting on the 1,000, you now putting on the 2,000, and you keep paying the minimum on everything else, right? And so forth and so on until you just completely out of debt. And then you go into saving up 3 to 6 months of expenses, for a real emergency in case you don't lose your job, et cetera, et cetera. And then you go into like saving up for retirement, college funds, all this and all that. And he has ideas around giving, stuff like that. So my question that I present is, does it work? Does that make sense? I'm sorry.
Yeah, makes total sense.
Okay.
Total sense.
So my question is, like I raised, does Dave Ramsey work for Black people?
Does the way Dave Ramsey do things work for Black people?
Right. And I think where it started for me was,
I think it can.
Oh, I definitely think it can.
But I think we are at a disadvantage compared to other people in America.
Right.
So I think that we have to start. I mean, it goes back to it was like an illustration that I seen of a certain group of people get a head start, and
right.
we as Black people have to start, like they get a head start already.
Exactly.
And then we got to start from start, and while they halfway.
They already got to start.
You know what I'm saying? They already got to start. So that's just kind of an illustration that I've seen. I'm pretty sure y'all seen it before. But when it comes to paying debt and all that type of stuff, or trying to get out of debt, I think we have a difficult time. I think it could work, but I think it just may take a little bit longer. We have to create new ways to try to get out of debt. We have to do all types of stuff to try to get ahead, I think.
Right. And I think where it came down to me was, I believe in his methods, but for me, like one of his things is live with your parents, save up as much money, right? And for me, it's like, even with the salary that I'm making, and I work overtime somewhere to 5 to 10 hours a week, and I've been doing that for like a year plus, mandatory overtime. And it's like, even doing that, working 50 hours a week, one, is that healthy for me mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally? Mm-hmm. Two, doing that, living with my mother, I would have to do that with the salary that I have and the debt that I have. I would have to do that
for a long ass time.
Right. For like, I think I calculated maybe 7 or 8 years. So.
And that's to pay off
all of my debt.
All of your debts.
All my student loans.
All your student loans.
Right.
7 years you have to spend with your mother.
Right. So.
Where did this start? Like, let's backtrack. At what age, like, is it right after college?
This was me just calculating after I graduated from grad school.
And what year was that?
Okay, so when I calculated, it was like...
Calculated.
When I calculated it, it was like me starting maybe last year. Or, yeah, starting in 2020, right? So
2020.
When I'm 27, 28, right?
And you have to live with your parents for 7 years.
Right.
That's 34.
Right. That's just paying off the debt, right? So then what if I want to save for a house? Right, because we don't believe in rent.
Right.
Ideally, right?
Right, yeah.
So if I want to pay for it, get a down payment, then I got to spend another few more, like maybe 2 or 3 more years or a couple more year or two. So that's 37, right? And I done put my whole I done put my whole life on hold to pay off debt.
To pay off debt and try to get you a house. So at 37 years old,
right?
you would
I can't
just
afford
like
kids
you would
at that
just
point.
right. You would just be getting out your mama house.
Right. I couldn't afford no children. I couldn't afford no house. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And this is if we play the Dave Ramsey game.
Right. If I'm interpreting it correctly, right?
No.
So
We're not doing that.
So it's like and the debt, right? Like, first of all, if you watch Dave Ramsey stuff on YouTube, he talks reckless to people. Like, and I don't like that. But like, people are in student loan debt. It's a crisis. It's not just my crisis. It's an American crisis, right? And then to be black, we already are at disadvantage because we have more debt than white people, right? So I think like when I put it in perspective that I've been trying to get out of debt, right? Or I'm trying to get ahead in life. Black people trying to get ahead of life, go to college. So we come out of college with more debt.
100,000.
Right, so we already at a disadvantage because we have to do certain things to get ahead, which is one is going to college that we think we're gonna get ahead with and we don't. And then we come out with more debt than white people or people who are not black.
I try not to say white people. I try not to say,
as well.
but we know what's up. But I try not to
Right.
say white. I just try to say those people or certain people.
Right. So
less melanated people.
less melanated people, right? So we come out with more debt, right?
No offense to y'all though.
Right. And then you telling me, so on a social aspect, right? You tell me to live with my mama.
Mm-hmm.
Where a lot of black people have black parents are like, you out of here at 18.
18, 17.
And don't come back.
No, right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So
I hate that too. I think I've learned to hate really that mindset because I don't even think my mother told me to like get out there. I think at the time when I turned 18, it was kind of like,
it's like, let's go.
Yeah, but I think society or the way society is or the way black people are in American society is kind of like, all right, what you gonna do at 18? It might not always be, you got to get the hell out of my house. It's like, all right, what you about to do?
Right.
What you gonna do? And then, we don't have the mindset to be like, chill, figure things out, save money. And it's okay to go to college. When you go to college, it's okay to come back and live with your parents until you know what I'm saying, figure it out. But I think with us, like my mentor said, in America at 18, 17, 18, we off the porch. You know what I'm saying? Right. We out here, you know what I'm saying? We out here in the world and we just, so we don't get taught like, not even taught, but it's just kind of like it's okay to at 18, like you're not, like you don't know it all. So just chill here until you kind of figure it out. But even then, that's kind of like I got to get out of here. Like chill here until you figure it out. It's like, nah, you don't know shit. Like try to do something, try to create something, try to, you know what I'm saying, save some money, whatever. But that's how we do.
Right.
At 18, your parents like, you got to get out. Right. You out of here, and it's not really in our community. I don't think it's forced to just hang out in the village until you're
ready to get out there for real.
Ready to get out there until you're financially ready to get out of there.
Right.
So.
And I think more than just asking the question, does Dave Ramsey work for people? Like, not only are we in a disadvantage when it comes to like student loans and interest rate, because we know that black people have higher interest rate on pretty much every single thing. So that puts us in an even more disadvantage, right? Does that we are looking at stuff such as, it's not necessarily does his method work for black people. It's like, what are we doing about the systematic racism within these things, right? Mm-hmm. What are we doing about the fact that black people's interest rates on their homes are higher? What are we doing about the fact that black people just are not educated on financial literacy? Mm-hmm. So it's different from saying like, we going out in the world and we just don't know nothing because we 18, right? Then somebody who we're black, like in my poem, it's like, I said, we are, what I say? I said, we,
it's your poem. I don't know.
Right, I know. We learning at a deficit in terms, okay, so we take out loans and stuff for student loans and whatnot. And we learn it from people who might have been illiterate. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like they don't know nothing. So it's like, not they don't know
Wait,
nothing.
who is
They
these
don't know how
people
to
you
read.
talking about?
Like our families. Like we're coming
Okay.
from
Like most of us are
generations.
first generations college
Right.
students, first generation business owners, first
Right.
generation entrepreneurs, first generation debt collectors, like $100,000s of dollars in debt.
Right. So they don't know how to handle that.
Yeah,
like
right.
they thinking of it as a means to an ends of like you just getting a degree and that's moving you up, right? And socially and stuff like that.
It's
it
not
does
realistic
it
most of the
moves
time.
us up, but financially it sets us back. And so it's like, I was about to say something. But it's like we're at a disadvantage, and then so it's like we're a give and take, and that I think is what frustrates me the most. It's not about does the process work. I believe it works, but it's just like what about the factors that we face as Black people and this country when it comes to money?
What do you think? All right, so Dave Ramsey may not work for us, but who do you think? And what do you think can work for Black people in relation to the way Dave Ramsey does things? Like, who is a good, like, is there any good Black Dave Ramsey? There's no Black Dave Ramsey, but is there a person in this world that is like,
me?
You said you? Okay, hey.
I'm just kidding.
Put it out there. Yeah, I'm with that.
But like, I think it's like the conversation we had on Clubhouse when Marquella was like, we have to learn how to play the game. So it's like for us, I feel like we're taking the sacrifice for our kids, right? For this generation, that's what I feel is that this generation is taking a sacrifice for the next generation, right? We are learning about all this stuff, and it's like I feel like though the goal is to not have to pay not to be in debt, not to have credit, and be able to pay cash for things. That's how it worked before credit was invented, right? I think credit, honestly, is just a way for us to live beyond our means, but we'll get there in a minute.
Let's look up when did credit start.
I think credit has been around because I looked up like credit has been around for like since the 1900s, but I think it just got worse like as time goes on. Right. And I think that has caused us to live beyond our means.
The use of credit cards originated in the United States
Right.
during the 1920s when individual firms such as oil companies and hotel chains began issuing them to customers for purchases made at company outlets. 1920s.
Right. And where that has spiraled to.
I think learning how to play the game is one thing and not abusing it is another one. And that's learning how to play the game with, you know what I'm saying, as well. So
and then it's like, hopefully
that's exactly right. Because my mother told me, don't get no credit card. That's why, like I've heard bad things about getting a credit card while in college. That's why I didn't get one.
And that's why they target college students.
I didn't I was like, nope, I'm staying away from the credit cards in college. My mother said she didn't even want me to get the credit card that I have right now. She was like, don't get no credit card.
The funny thing is, the credit card ain't even
how do
the
we
issue.
build credit? Huh?
I said the funny thing for me, the credit card ain't even the issue. Like that was paid off in 8 months. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not the issue. The issue is this $27,000 worth of student loan debt I got.
Facts.
The issue is the $50,000 folks got.
My mother should have said, Don't go to college.
Right. That's what they should have said. Forget the credit card. I can deal with the credit card debt. I would trade $10,000 worth of credit card debt right now for that $127,000. So that's where my issue is. But what I was saying was I feel like we're taking the hit if we are being smart, right? I'll take the hit for my kids. I'll play the game of having a perfect credit score and working towards maybe in my 40s and 50s paying cash for stuff, right? So that my kids, when they come out at 18, they don't have to pay. They can start paying cash immediately, right? So I think that's where I'm getting at for me, right? Is because this is something that I've honestly just evolved from because of just the Clubhouse conversation, just being more realistic about where I'm about to be in life, like, or how to do this. Because like for me, it's like, let me put my life on hold until this debt is paid off. Because I honestly just like, I was like one of those type of people, like I didn't want to bring kids in this world if I still have this debt. Which that's still something that's fair. Right. That's fair. Because I think if you're in debt, you're in poverty. So it's like, why am I screaming?
Because no, that's okay. That's a good value.
Okay. I am kind of passionate though. But it's like, that's, so I'm at my goal is to, that's the goal I wanted, right? But it's like when I put things in a holistic manner, because I think that's what I've been doing lately, is looking at things in a holistic manner. Financially, it's smart to wait until your debt is paid off to you to have kids, right? But what if my debt is not paid off till I'm 50? Do I want to be a 50-year-old mother, right? Like,
it's a game.
Exactly.
It's the game of life.
So
you gotta figure it out. You know what I think? I think that you try to get your debt down as far as possible to free up other debt. If that makes sense.
Explain.
A kid is debt.
Okay, I got it.
All right, so you $160,000 in debt, right?
Why are you adding to the number? I'm 120.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know.
Oh,
it's a lot, goddamn, compared to mine. It's a lot.
Well, if Joe Biden do what he say he's gonna do, it'll be about the same as yours.
Now is a perfect time to say, go get them Joe Biden shirts. HustleDifferent.com. We are live.
HustleDifferent.com.
Go get them Joe Biden shirts. If you go into the inauguration, go get them. Go get the Joe Biden shirts.
I'm not going to inauguration. We not going to inauguration. So.
I'm saying if people are going,
right? I was saying
they should
hand
get them
him
Joe
one.
Biden shirts.
Like they gonna get that close, but hand him one.
Get the little gun thing from the stadium.
Literally killed. Literally killed.
You're right. You can't do that. All right, cool. And this is just me. Like, this might not even be the best way to think about it. And you guys can share in the comments about what you think I'm trying to say and how you disagree or agree. We can agree to disagree. Right. So I think when it comes to children or anything, you're trying to pay down the most of like the most of the debt that you have. So if you $160,000 in debt, try to get that debt down to half before you start wanting to have kids. Maybe if you want to have kids, try to pay down as much debt as you can, because essentially a kid is debt. A kid is a bill. A kid is an investment. Like, so just try to free up other debt that you might already have to open a door for other debt. It's the game. It's the debt game. It's the credit game. It's all that. It's all that type of stuff. But if you don't want to have, like, if you don't want debt, or if you don't want children, then pay all your debt. If you like, you know what, I'm not having children until I get all this debt paid, and it take you 30, 40 years to have children, and then you like, well, shit, I don't really want, like, it's something that you have to internalize. Like, I don't want children until I pay off all my debt. And by the time you pay off all your debt, you like, well, shit, it's too late for me to have kids. It's adoption agencies out here. It's all types of shit out here. You can adopt a dog, all that type of stuff. It's just,
we going off topic.
No, we not. I'm just trying to say that it's options out. If your goal is to be completely out of debt
and to be a parent, right? Like, you got to start thinking of stuff like that.
But at the same time, I think it's kind of like, you know, you want to have a family, you want kids and stuff like that, and like, realistically, you might not be able to pay off all your debt, but you just have to figure out how to balance that. Right. You have to figure out how to balance both of them, how to balance that shit, how to balance your debt and then kids. But I don't know. I don't know.
That was just an example. I just want to kind of like reiterate the fact that it's not that I don't believe that his methods work. It's that how does the methods work holistically in a system, or for people who are at a disadvantage? Like, I don't totally reject his stuff at all. Like, that's not like, I do want to be able to pay. I see people pay cash for stuff, right? I don't like owing people money. I don't like the idea that if I borrow some money, I have to pay even more back, i.e. interest, to, be out of the hole. I don't believe in living beyond your means. My friends probably know, like, one of the things I quote the most is brokenness yields creativity. And that's Issa Rae saying that, like, when she started out her YouTube channel, The Misadventures of the Awkward Black Girl, she said, like, when you ain't got no money, you have your friends holding lights up in certain ways and stuff like that, because when you broke, you get real creative. Mm-hmm. So I believe that so that's one way that I think of living within your means. Like, you get real creative, right? Also, with, like, my mother always used to tell me, like, don't count money that's not in your hand. So, like, if I'm if I have to buy something and I'm paying for, and I'm not gonna go to the extreme of card note and stuff like that, but if I have to think like the only way I can get this is if I put it on a credit card. That's me living outside my means, and that's me counting money that's not in my hand.
It's not yours.
Right.
It's not your money.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's not me saying that I don't believe in his methods. I believe they work. My question is, for people who are out here trying to break generational curses, out here trying to create legacy, out here trying to start new things like businesses and becoming entrepreneurs and breaking barriers in certain ways, like that might not work for us. And if it does, like, let me know how to do both at the same time.
Well, I think we pretty creative people and we figure things out. So that's just the game. Like I said, like I think it should be more people out here that look like us that should be helping people financially figure things out. And I'm pretty sure that there is.
Yeah.
It's just those people are not at the level of Dave Ramsey. Is he a business owner? Like, do he own a business?
His business is his name. Like, his business is selling books. After he got out of there, he started selling the process.
See, that's what I think we need a black.
You want to know what's funny though? Like, well, I don't know if you call him the Black Dave Ramsey, but Anthony O'Neill he's part of the Dave Ramsey network. He used Dave Ramsey's methods, and now he does talk with like people who paid off their debt and stuff like that, a lot. And but I don't know about somebody being what we trying to do, right? Like, or what we talking about, like not just duplicating what Dave Ramsey said and then putting it out there.
No, we're not trying to duplicate.
Like we try. I don't know if there's anybody out there.
We try to find our own ways to
if there's a way already.
And then once we figure out like, oh, this works, then we can give the game to people. Something Young Thug said on T.I.'s podcast. He was talking about like Jay-Z or something and how he wants Jay-Z to show him the game because he wants to show other people the game or something like that. And I think about that all the time when Hustle Different and all these different ventures that we go in, and it's kind of like the only way that we gonna bring each other up is teach each other what we've learned if it's successful.
Right.
And then even if it's not successful, you can teach people about your failures so they know what mistakes not to make.
Exactly. And I think, but I think that's sometimes tricky because if you go like, not tricky, honestly, but like sometimes people like figure out stuff and they sell the book, right? And that's just like, okay, so we were talking yesterday on a Clubhouse about like how some people, so I was asking for a business mentor and I'm putting it out there in the atmosphere so that like the Lord will lead somebody to me, right? And like just to have it out there. I was scared to say that because sometimes when you become, when you want to be a businessman, when you say I want a business mentor, somebody be like, well, let me sell you my product or let me sell you my services. And I just genuinely want a business mentor.
Like that's bullshit.
Right.
You know, excuse my language, but I don't really get all into because those people are not genuine to you and what you're trying to figure out. You need like, essentially it's like a therapist for business or therapy for entrepreneur. Like we need I need to come to you as trying like I need to come, like, you know how you go to a therapist and the therapist helps you figure things out through talking, through releasing all this stuff
right
that you might have. Like I think there's I'm trying to get this motherfucker. There's like I think it's some type of business therapy thing that should be taking place.
Well, I don't even know if it's called
entrepreneurial therapy. I mean, but I mean,
building a relationship.
I know what I'm trying to say.
Saying. Like you basically saying like a relationship.
We don't need you to. Like, I don't need you to sell me what you know. I need you to listen to what I'm trying to figure out and offer solutions and offer your advice. I don't need you to sell me on anything.
Right.
But most people are not going to do that.
Right. And I think
most people are not going to help you for free.
Right. I understand that. But I think what you see out here now is it's not that I don't want to like sell my process, right? If I figure this thing out for us as Black people, it's not like I'm not going to want to sell it, right? But my thing is I'm going to need to know it works. Because like Dave Ramsey stuff works. But you see a lot of people out here selling books. Because you can see, like you see Instagram posts that say you want to make $10,000, sell this many ebooks for this amount of money, and you just selling the books. 9 times out of 10, I've done it. I've purchased the books and not read them. So it's like, but people, I don't know if they focused on like really helping people, right? So it's like, I guess I was saying it to say like, we can create a book, but I just want to like make sure like people understand, like if I put out something, I want to make sure it has quality and real results, because a lot of times, like I think it can get tricky is in like, so I was saying that because Dave Ramsey is an entrepreneur. Like he sold after he got out of debt and after he figured out how to get out of debt, he sold the book to tell people how to get out of debt. So I think that's a perfect example of figuring out something and selling it and it being okay. But for example, me saying, do this, and that, and I ain't even tested it. I haven't tested it on myself. I haven't tested it on you. I haven't tested it on other people. Other people haven't done it. I think that's when people start scamming. So I just wanted to say that because you was asking like, is he an entrepreneur? Yes, his name is his brand, and he does books. He does it's called Financial Peace University. I think he sells those envelopes where you put your money, because he believes in dealing with cash. He sells the pre-recordings where like you can like take it to your church and like do a whole like Dave Ramsey step-by-step with your church and stuff like that, or large group. So yeah, but I think that's really my goal, is to be the quote-unquote Black Dave Ramsey, but the quote-unquote I figured it out for Black people. Yeah, which might
don't be
the
Black Dave Ramsey.
I want to be the Black
Morgan. Be the Black Morgan Allison.
Be you.
Right, just be you. But I get it. I mean, I feel like you can look to him as hey, you know what I'm saying? I look to him, or I look to Dave Ramsey to try to figure things out for my own people, because I think, it goes back to the question, does the method works for Black people?
Right.
So it's the same thing with Gary Vee. Like, does his method work for Black people? Gary Vee is like this motivational speaker that speaks about quitting your job and doing all this stuff and just do it, and you know what I'm saying. But when you think about it, it's kind of like, okay, what are you like? Are you talking from a 50-year-old white man's perspective, or are you talking from a no, you're talking from a 50-year-old white man's perspective. But what about young Black people, young Black men or women? What about 50-year-old Black men that's trying to do something? It's like it doesn't work the same for all people. So, yeah.
I think also, as a disclaimer, I guess, I am a recovering former fundamentalist Christian, which means everything the Bible said, I took it as prescriptive instead of descriptive, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I took it as the literal gospel.
I don't, but explain.
So
I do, but explain.
So basically, fundamentalist Christians basically believe the Bible said it, I must do it. Rather than putting things in context of the Bible, putting things in context of now, right? So you basically just follow the Bible, whatever said, that's what it is, right? So I think I'm saying that to say I learned that while I was navigating that, coming out of being fundamentalist and coming into a more progressive Christianity view, I tend to want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So like going from super conservative to super liberal, right? Instead of realizing that there's a happy medium on a lot of things, right? And a lot of things are great. So I say that to say that I was becoming very frustrated. When I said, does Dave Ramsey work for Black people? My initial thought was, heck no, and throw it out, right? But I think what I'm learning about myself is I go from following it to a T, or thinking you have to follow it to a T, to throwing it completely away, to being like, let me rethink about some things, and like finding a medium. And I think that's a lot of times what we have to do for ourselves, when we watch people as experts, when we watch people as guides, when we watch people as gurus, when we watch people as those who are smarter than us, those who are more ahead in the game than us, is figuring out how does it work for us. And that's something that I think 2021 is finna, like, me learning for myself is how do I make these things work for me, and allowing people to know that if I tell you this is how I did it, that doesn't mean that's how you have to do it exactly. And being
You can
okay
always grab, like, you can get different things, like you can grab different things that relate to you specifically from, like, don't, like, I would say don't just throw everything out.
right.
Like, if you say, like, oh, you know what, I don't think this is gonna work for me, I'm throwing everything out. If you continue to watch and learn from this person, let's just say Dave Ramsey, that's who we talking about. It's certain things that there are certain things that he can offer, you know, black people that we can take and be like, okay, I like this little piece or this little caveat, I'll use this. It might not be the whole thing, but this little piece that I've learned, I'll take this. So I wouldn't say don't throw it completely away, but or the whole thing completely away. There's always something that you can learn from him or anybody. So
Yeah, and something else that, like, I posed this question on Facebook before we started recording just to get some thoughts out. And somebody said, if you don't like him, look at somebody else. And I think that was me, just like, this was presented to me in church. This was presented to me by an authoritative figure. And it's like, there are other people out here that are financial experts. And you can look at other people and you can compare and you can create something of your own. And there are people who believe in credit. Like, there are people who believe that you need credit to survive. Like, and maybe, like, looking at those people and seeing, like, what they say about credit will help me, or, you know what I'm saying? Or looking at other people who don't believe in credit and see how they got out of it or whatever. So yeah, I think that's it. I think, like, I was going from the mentality that it don't work for black people. He don't take in consideration that we 20 steps behind already, which I don't think he does. And if he does, like, give us some grace, you know what I'm saying? Or advocate for us, because Dave Ramsey is a voice, you know what I'm saying? Like, can we get some advocacy? There we go. Can we get some advocacy on the insides of corporations who we know charge black people more in interest, which keeps us in debt longer? Can we get some advocacy on policies and stuff that allow to change laws on how we buy homes and stuff, and all that. If that, I was gonna say if that.
I was gonna say even the playing field,
right?
But that's gonna take years, maybe.
Exactly.
Because it's a system that's created, that's in place, that doesn't even, like, I think they had to tear down the whole system in order to even the playing field for black people. So,
right.
Yeah.
I just think there's just way more things to consider, like the wage gap, the fact that black people get paid less, all that stuff needs to be taken into consideration. And I think, like, and it's not saying black people aren't doing this. There are black people doing it. I know it, but I'm just asking more for more insight on black people. Well, I guess specifically for me, you know, like, who are in X, Y, and Z amount of debt, who make X, Y, and Z amount of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Who have dreams and goals. And like, I keep saying this, like, I was talking to my best friend, and she's like, I don't want to feel like we just working to pay off debt. Like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for some people, it might be 1 or 2 years. Working to pay off debt for 8 years, what does that do to somebody mentally? And that's real serious, because I advocate for mental health. You know, I advocate for physical health. Like, if I'm running my body to the ground for 60 hours a week for 7 years, or if I was working more, then it might cut the time down. But what does that do to me on a weight loss journey? What does that do to me on, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna have time, literally. Right, yeah. So that's the type of question that I ask. So yeah, I think
I'm still learning. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to be like the way I think about it is just get the best job you can that pays the most money to help you pay down your debt. But some of us are not working those jobs. Some of us can't get those jobs because some companies and some people are not hiring people that look like you or not. So
right.
We got to play the game of life that, you know, has been presented to us, and hopefully somebody, some somebody will come along and realize like, nah, this is some bullshit. There's a certain amount of people in this country that basically built this country or contributed a significant amount to this country, and they're treated a certain way, and they need to be compensated, or they need the playing fields to be evened out so they can either catch up or get ahead of the motherfuckers that
right,
ahead.
Right. But I think for now, I'm okay with still living within my means, still making sure I get and stay out of credit card debt, still making sure like I do try to get to a point where I'm starting paying on not the credit card, student loans, because I have student loans that are maybe $1,500, so I can start paying on that, like, and still living my best life, like, and still trying to, figure stuff out as entrepreneurs, figuring stuff out as an adult. And I think that's basically what Hustle Different is, just figuring out how to be an adult, honestly. Mm-hmm. But so yeah, for now, that's just where I'm at with Dave Ramsey. I'm not gonna throw it out completely. Will I go as fast as some people I see on YouTube or some people who have done Dave Ramsey? Probably not. But the principles I do stand with. I just get frustrated with just knowing why I'm in the debt that I'm in. And we can talk about that later. Like,
I don't want to talk about why you in debt. We know.
But I mean, yeah, student loans, but it's also like,
you got out on the credit cards too. Like you was telling me how you got out on the credit cards while you was in school too.
Yeah, but that's literally it. Like after I got out of college, grad school, I didn't use credit cards. And it ain't like I used. I see people who in $10,000 of credit card debt. I ain't that. No, I wasn't
I'm
that
so
at all.
glad I stayed away from that in college. I starved before I go get a credit card.
Better borrow some money, go out and get some food.
Hey, Ma.
Shoot. Right.
I just need $5 to get some noodles. That's all I need is some noodles.
Yeah, so it ain't like I went crazy. I'm not crazy in debt. Like I ain't gonna lie. Like today is the year anniversary of me getting in a car wreck, and when I don't even know if I can say this, but when I've seen the damage, part of me was like, total that thing, because when I started realizing, like, I went out and bought a car. And I missed my car because it was brand new 2019 Nissan. Like, I missed my car a lot. But when I realized that you go out and you're young and you like, I want a brand new car, and you realize like, oh my God, it just depreciated as soon as I drove off the lot, and then you realize how much you're paying on it. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I don't think I'm ever gonna buy a new car again.
Right, and it's like I'm okay if it gets totaled. Right, so So it's not like I'm in debt. I'm not in debt. I'm in student loan debt.
It's debt. It's all the same.
It is, but it ain't like I'm just out here being super financially irresponsible. Because you know.
I know that you can be financially irresponsible.
No, I can be financially frugal.
Oh, okay.
Shoot.
Well.
Or you don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Whatever.
Anyway. So, are we ending on that or no?
Yeah, I think we ended on the fact that I'm not throwing out Dave Ramsey completely. I'm just realizing that I got to make it work for me.
And to add to that is we need to figure out a person or a way to get someone that looks like us to talk about. And I'm pretty sure it's out there. And like, we just need people to put in the comments who out there is a person like Dave Ramsey that can work for Black people. You know what I'm saying? And
if it ain't nobody, it is gonna be me. I'm gonna figure it out.
I'm gonna help you through it. I'm here. And also just trying to figure out what he's talking about that could work for us. There's always something that can work for us. But it may not be. I don't know. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm ending it. Is I'm not throwing it out. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna help my people.
Help your people.
So thank y'all for listening to our thoughts on this and my
Yep.
frustrations.
Of the game or dropping jewels. I hope you picked up something from this. If
Yeah.
not, then I don't know. Go get the merch though.
Right.
We got good we got good merch. The website is up, hustledifferent.com. Subscribe, hit the button,
Hit the bell. Hit the
boop, the bell, whatever. I don't know.
and what's like,
What else?
I mean, that's it. Like, if you're on Clubhouse, you can follow us. We can, and you'll be able to have actual conversations with us. If you're on, like, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and all that for content, pretty much daily or every other day. That's a goal of 2021. Just,
More content for your
more
head top.
content.
Yeah,
Right.
more content. All right.
Until next time. Keep
Until next
hustling,
time.
hustlers.
Keep hustling. Hustle and flow.